Good morning. Welcome to the East Georgia State College program, Vision Series program this morning. I would like to remind you, if you have any electronic devices, to turn them off, as I'm going to do mine. And this is a program that I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. All of us, as we're growing up, have certain public events seared into our memories. Each generation has its own set of them. For some, it might be something traumatic like Pearl Harbor, the assassinations of John F. Kennedy or Robert Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. Could be 9/11. Could be various elections, cultural developments, movies, sports events, and so forth. For me, and many of my generation, one of the signal athletic events we witnessed was something that happened at the 1964 Olympic Games held in Tokyo. I was 16, a high school junior, and was living on the Army base at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. I was a high school miler and half-miler, and avidly watched the games on our black and white TV. And one of the greatest upsets in modern Olympic history, Billy Mills, an unheralded runner from the United States, won the gold medal in the 10,000-meter race, beating in the process the world record holder from Australia, the Soviet runner who had won the event in the 1960 Games, and several other favorites. In winning, he set an Olympic record and ran 50 seconds faster than he'd ever run the 10,000 meters before. Perhaps the term upset is not accurate, because to Billy Mills, it was not an upset, but a planned victory. Despite the expectations of others, he ran the race to win and was sure he would. In that, there's a lesson for all of us as we strive for our own victories in life. But there's much more to Billy Mills than Olympic triumph, as significant as that was. Let me tell you a little more about our guest this morning. He was born and raised on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. Although Pine Ridge is very rich in culture and spirit, it's continually recognized economically as one of the poorest communities in America, with unemployment reaching 80%. He was orphaned by the age of 12 and sent to boarding schools. He graduated from high school at Haskell Indian School. Billy became involved in distance running and earned an athletic scholarship from the University of Kansas. Never winning a major race in track and field, he continued to show promise by making NCAA Division I cross-country All-American 3 times. Upon graduating from the University of Kansas, Billy was commissioned officer in the United States Marine Corps and continued training for the Olympic team. He made the Olympic team in 2 events, the marathon and the 10,000-meter run. He trained his body, mind, and soul for peak performance. And the world is about to see the greatest upset in Olympic history unfold. Today, Billy Mills is an accomplished businessman, author, and national spokesman for Running Strong for American Indian Youth, an organization he co-founded in 1986. Through Running Strong, Billy has spent 26 years lifting other young men and women toward their aspirations and has championed wellness and unlocked opportunities in Native American communities across America. He's received 5 honorary doctorates and is a recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation, the highest honor that the University of Kansas Alumni Association can bestow upon an individual to acknowledge outstanding achievement for the betterment of humankind. A major motion picture has been made about Billy titled Running Brave and has been a positive influence on many of our American youth. On February 15, 2013, the President of the United States, Barack Obama, awarded the Presidential Citizens Medal to Billy Mills for his work with Running Strong. Before we hear from Billy, just to recapture a moment in sports, we will play a short video of Billy's Olympic 10,000-meter victory. Look for Billy. The number on his jersey is 722.
(1964).
Some of the athletes from various teams have both been ranked to get a closer look.
Let's go.
Sakai now passing by the bands and through those traditional Japanese drums. Flags of all the nations. Now we're coming to one of the most impressive moments of the Olympics, as Sakai will turn and salute the crowd before igniting the cauldron which will burn throughout the Olympic Games until the closing ceremonies, and it will be extinguished. There it goes.
The stretch produced an amazing finish by Billy Mills.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills in the United States, number 722, is leading Ron Clark. And in third place right now is Mahout Gamudi of Tunis. A tremendous upset if Bill Mills can hang on. But Gamudi goes out ahead as Gamudi right now leading in the 10,000 meter. Ron Clark is third. Rather, Bill Mills is in third. Ron Clark is in second right now. This is the final lap for the 10,000 meter. The unheralded Mahout Gamudi of Tunis is putting on a tremendous sprint. He's out ahead of Ron Clark. Bill Mills, the United States, is in third place. And this will certainly be the fastest 10,000 meter ever run by an American.
Here's Mills, who seems to be boxed in. Suddenly there's an opening, and here he comes.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gamudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gamudi. Look at Mills! Look at Mills! Look at Mills! Coming on! Mills is coming on! That might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here! Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters. Bill Mills of the United States, a tremendous upset, wins the 10,000 meter here. His unheralded winner from Kansas.
Let's go back and look with our other camera to see exactly how he broke through the pack.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gamudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gamudi. Look at Mills! Look at Mills! Look at Mills! Coming on! Mills is coming on! That might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here! Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters.
Billy Mills, the only American ever to win a gold medal in the Olympic 10,000 meter run.
Let's give a big Mr. H. State College welcome to Billy Mills. Thank you. That moment was very, very special for me. I truly felt as if I had wings on my feet. I was told the moment was magical. I was told the world had just witnessed the greatest upset in Olympic history unfold. However, that's not what I took from sport. What I took from sport could be considered today three of the greatest challenges, or perhaps three of the greatest lessons we need to learn, we need to pass on to the younger generation. I took, for example, it's the journey, not the destination, that empowered me as an athlete. It's the years you spend here at the college, not graduation, that empowers you as a graduate. I took, it's the daily decisions you make in life, not just the talent you possess, that choreographs your destiny. It was the 60,000 miles of training, not breaking the tape at the Olympic Games, that empowered me as an athlete. And now traveling to 106 different countries, many times around the world, I took a true sense of global unity through the dignity, through the character, through the beauty of global diversity. Unity
unity through diversity. Not only the theme of the Olympic Games, far, far more important, the future of humankind. I was 9 years old when I read my first Olympic book. And the book quoted the Greeks, who said, Olympians are chosen by the gods. You know, I liked that comment. I wanted to be chosen by the gods, but it had nothing to do with the Olympic Games. I was 8 years old. My mother had just died. The loss was like standing in the middle of an earthquake. I thought if I was chosen by the gods, maybe I would be able to see my mother again. The book also quoted Socrates, other philosophers who simply said, with achievement comes honor. With honor comes responsibility. My father then took me into Native American storytelling, culture, tradition, spirituality, and said, we don't tell stories just to tell stories. We tell stories to teach lessons. And depending upon the level of responsibility, with accountability, we'll see in our life, there's a different consequence, a different lesson learned. So as a youngster, I'm taking Greek mythology, Native American storytelling, culture, tradition, spirituality, blending them, and I found Olympic idealism. It's the journey, not the destination, that empowers us. It's the daily decisions we make in life, not just the talent we possess, that choreographs our destiny. And now I'm traveling to 106 different countries, half a dozen times around the world. There's approximately 250 countries throughout the world. I have a friend in 189 countries throughout the world. There's approximately 5,000 nations throughout the world. The United States is one country, 567 tribal nations. I have friends in over 3,000 tribal nations throughout the world. I took a true sense of global unity through the dignity, through the character, through the beauty of global diversity, the future of humankind. Never in the history of humankind has it been more important for all the countries of the world, for the governments of the world, and for the marketplace of the world to work very closely together to choreograph our journey into this rapidly changing world and take advantage of the opportunities that can await us. The greatest challenge we face to do that is no different than the greatest challenge I faced being orphaned. My mother died when I was 8, my father when I was 12. And I'm going to talk about the greatest challenge we face. I call the challenge perceptions. A perception is neither right or wrong, but we have to deal with perceptions with almost dignity, character, beauty, honor. So the young students understand what I mean by perceptions. I'm going to share a story with them. There's a movie on my life. Now the movie is called Running Brave. The movie stars Robbie Benson. Now Robbie Benson plays Billy. Robbie plays me in the movie Running Brave. Robbie and I became very dear friends until a few years ago we raced each other in 10K runs. If Robbie Benson was here, he would tell you ladies back here, I beat Billy Mills in these 10K races because I'm a faster runner. Well, I acknowledge today Robbie Benson runs faster than me. But I want to tell you why. I'm a Sioux Indian. And even that's a perception. Because our proper name is Lakota, Nakota, or Dakota, depending upon the dialect we speak. I'm Lakota. And in the Lakota culture, when you have grandchildren, you become a contemporary elder. My wife and I have 12 grandchildren, 4 daughters, 1 great-grandchild. So I'm an elder. And that's also the only reason Robbie Benson runs faster than me today. Robbie and I were racing in Los Angeles. It was in the newspapers that the actor Robbie Benson would be racing the real Billy. We received dozens of phone calls from first, second, and third grade school teachers, followed by letters from the little ones. Their communication to Robbie and I. Although it's a Sunday morning race, the course goes right by our school. We're going to line up at the 5-mile mark. We're going to cheer for you and Robbie when you both run by. And would you both be willing to acknowledge us? Would you wave at us? And would you wear special T-shirts with Running Brave in front, Running Brave in back, so we can distinguish you and Robbie Benson from the other 2,500 runners? Robbie and I acknowledged we had beautiful, baby blue Running Brave T-shirts made. Now, I want you young students and the teachers to realize, with me being the real Billy, I took the liberty. I made my Running Brave sign twice as big as Robbie's. And the race is underway. We're running side by side as you agreed until we're 500 yards from the little ones. At which point, Robbie Benson looked at me and he decided at that precise moment, although we agreed to run side by side, he decided at that precise moment to throw in several 29-year-old moves on my then rapidly approaching 50-year-old body. I immediately, Robbie threw in a couple of 29-year-old moves. I immediately covered his move. I threw in a couple of Olympic-type moves. I closed right on Robbie's Benson's shoulder, and then I went into hyperventilation. But I caught him. I'm right behind Robbie, right in front of the little ones, and I heard him say, "There they come. There's the actor, Running Brave." Another voice said, "No, that's not Running Brave. Running Brave is just the name of the movie. The actor is Robbie Benson. Robbie Benson's the actor. Robbie Benson plays the Indian guy, Billy Mills." Another voice said, "Well, I wonder where the real Billy is." I'm right in front of them. My Running Brave sign twice as big. Another voice said, "I don't care about the real Billy. I want to see the actor. Where's Robbie Benson? Where's Robbie?" Now, in unison, first, second, and third graders, several of the English school teachers, all shouted. And it was a perception. Well, if that old man would get out of the way, you could see the actor, Robbie Benson. I had my perception. I started looking around for the old man. Only to realize they're talking about me. But the most powerful way to put perceptions in its proper place, I'll share a story with the adults. My wife and I got back from Turkey December 2 years ago. There was an email from a young man on the Maldive Islands, Mali. Billy Mills, I'm a 2-time Olympian. The movie on your life called Running Brave saved my life. I went to meet you. I'm in Hawaii going through Homeland Security for my country. When I'm through, I want to fly to Sacramento, California and spend a couple days with you, Billy. Your movie saved my life. My wife answered and said, Billy's going to be in Schofield Barracks, going to be in Hawaii in 5 days, speaking to 1,300 of our U.S. soldiers, men and women. That's what I'm going through. Homeland Security. Give me into the presentation. My wife made arrangements. He's into the presentation. I present. There's a standing ovation by command. 1,300 soldiers sit down. Dr. Hussein Hamid is still standing, still applauding. Then he shouts, I want 5 minutes. They gave him 5 minutes. Here's what he shared. The movie you saw last night, I saw 70 times. It saved my life. He said, I'm of Islamic faith. I am Muslim. Billy Mills has been like my uncle for 28 years. I just met him. His wife Patricia has been my auntie for 28 years. I just met her. Billy's father was teaching him virtues and values. Billy's father died. My father was teaching me virtues and values. My father died. Billy could stay in his Native American environment, and he could still learn about virtues and values. I was given a new teacher. my new teacher, who's teaching me to hate the Jew, to hate the Christian, to hate the infidel, to hate the people of the West. That was not the teachings of my father, teaching from the same book. I couldn't do that. I refused. They rejected me. I was abandoned. A school teacher showed me this movie, Running Brave, on Billy Mills. I wanted to become an Olympian. Today I'm a two-time Olympian. Billy Mills is a one-time Olympian. Billy won the gold medal. I finished second to last twice in the marathon. But that's not what Billy and I took from sport. Today, traveling worldwide, today meeting different people throughout the world because of the Olympic Games. I have friends who are Jewish. They express their love to me. I express my love to them. I have friends who are Christian. We express our love to one another. I don't know if Billy's a Christian. I don't know if he follows his Native American spirituality. I don't know if his wife's a Christian. That's not important. What is important? We are all related. And he quoted the most powerful prayer of my Native American ancestry. We are all related. Then he thanked our men and women for their efforts to bring peace to the world. And he sat down, and it was totally quiet. Then all of a sudden, 1,300 soldiers erupt into an applause. They're standing and they're applauding. The moment was magical. The moment was inspirational. The moment was sacred. The greatest challenge we face in a rapidly changing world are perceptions. Never in the history of humankind has it called for our governments and our marketplace to work closely together with other governments and other marketplaces to choreograph our journey into this rapidly changing world. This young man said to me, Billy, if you could ever visit my country, would you come? I said, if I could visit your country, my life would be blessed. 3 weeks later, we get a phone call. My wife teaches art on the Crystal Cruise Line. Would you take this position, this teaching job from Mumbai for the Maldives, on down into Cape Town? I'll do it. We arrived at his country, his capital. He took us to dinner at his home. 11 men and my wife, we sat down for dinner. He spoke before dinner and said, for the first time in history of my family line, I would have a female sit at dinner with us. A few minutes later, he brought up his mother. She joined. He said, our world is changing so rapidly, sometimes too rapidly for us. But I feel blessed that my mother can join me for dinner today, that your wife can join me also. Unity through diversity. Perceptions. The greatest challenge we face in this rapidly changing world. I wanted to share that with you. I'll share one more quick story. 1992, Barcelona, Spain. 5 minutes before the 10,000-meter run, I'm introduced. I saw my face on the big screen. They talked about a little secret, or a value-based concept in self-empowerment that Billy shared with young people now from 106 different countries throughout the world on how dreams come true and how we can get along. There's an applause. I sit down. Boom! The 10,000-meter run got underway. A race full of perceptions. When the race is over, my wife, my daughter, some friends, we sit down for dinner on the main drag of Barcelona, the Ramblers. The United States media sits next to us, and perceptions began to flow. The 10,000-meter run this evening between Chileno and Spa has to be the greatest distance race in the history of the Olympic Games. Another media person said, no, 1964, when that Indian guy won. That's still the greatest distance race in the history of the Olympic Games. I wonder whatever happened to him. My daughter, Billy Joe, Daddy, tell them who you are. Shh. They continued. I wish I knew what happened to that Indian guy, because his race was phenomenal. Two men stood and said, we'll tell you about that Indian guy. Now my daughter and I go, what? We're listening. The words rolled. That Indian guy. I wish I could recall his name, but their names are not important after all. I know for a fact, though, he's like all the rest of them. Now my daughter and I go, what? What? His words continued. Today he's alcoholic, he's drug addicted, he's a quitter. That's the way they all are. I'm 75 years old. My daughters have never seen alcohol cross my lips. But my choice. That doesn't mean I don't have a glass of wine with my wife and we're in Paris or some other exotic part of the world. Daddy, say something to those men. That day, perceptions broke me. My eyes dropped, my heart ached, and I was tired. I had no words to speak. Daddy, say something, you're my hero. Could not respond. She kissed me on the cheek. She stroked my arm. Daddy, say something to me. You always seem to find the strength to have wings of an eagle. Boom! I'm back on the reservation, 12 years old. My dad reminded me, just a month, 6 weeks before he died, that I had broken wings. He said, son, you have broken wings, but I'll share something with you. And if you follow it, someday you may have wings of an eagle. He took a stick and drew a circle. Step inside of the circle, son. I stepped inside. Close your eyes. I closed my eyes. Look inside of your heart. I felt his hand on my heart, and the heartbeat bouncing his hand off of me. Look inside of your mind. I felt his fingertips on my temple. Look inside of your heart, your body, your mind, your spirit. What do you find? I can't respond. Boom! He clapped his hands. I'll share with you what you find. Anger. You just lost your mother. Hate. People have expressed hatred toward us. Jealousy. Because we don't have anything of material value. But the jealousy blinds you. You don't see the good in other people. You don't see the good in other cultures. And you have a whole lot of self-pity. All of those emotions will destroy you, son. Look deeper, way down deeper where the dreams lie. Find the dream, son. It's the pursuit of a dream that'll heal you. All of a sudden, my arm is being stroked again. Daddy, are you okay? I'm back in Barcelona. Say something. I stood up and simply said, are you talking about Billy Mills? That's his name. This guy knows him. Let me tell you about Billy because I know him very well. By choice, his children have never seen alcohol cross his lips. He has alcohol. Maybe in a year's time, a total of 8 ounces of dry wine his wife wants him to taste. By choice, he's never quit. He's accepted defeat, but not failure. By choice, by choice. My gosh, you sure know a lot about him, don't you? I said, let me tell you why. I know about Billy Mills because I'm Billy. 2 men stood and said, Billy, we're sorry, we're sorry. Don't be sorry. Just find out who told you. All Indian people are quitters, drug addicted. Billy, we're sorry, but no need to be so sensitive. I challenge them to go into a single-parent family home, Asian American, Latino, Hispanic speaking, African American, European American, Native American home. Go into a single-parent family home, and if you can get beyond some hurt, some basic needs, maybe some anger, and then look deeper, you're going to find dignity, you're going to find character, you're going to find beauty, you're going to find hope, you're going to find dreams. And I'll defend their dignity, their character, their beauty, their hope, and their dreams with my life. The men gathered and said, Billy, we'll become the biggest advocates for the youth of America. They disappeared. My daughter, thank you, Daddy. Another reason why you're my hero. You always seem to find the strength to have wings as an eagle. As we spoke in the President's office for just a few moments, the first thing I realized is both of you have wings of eagles. And that's sacred. I wanted to share that with you, but I wanted to share with you also how I felt winning the gold medal at the Olympic Games. I'll start in this manner. A junior in college, first 3 times I made All-American. I'm asked to get out of the photo. The 3rd time I broke. But I stayed on, never got out. But I broke. I go back to the hotel room. I'm standing on a chair. My knees are on the windowsill. My hand is on the glass here. This hand is on the wood frame. Moving my upper body back and forth. Just let go. It'll all be over. But I want to tell you why I didn't jump. I didn't wait for my ears. I got underneath my skin. Through energy. Don't. In loving, compassionate, caring, don't. I thought it was my dad's words. I was a junior in college. He died when I was 12. I got off the chair, and for the first time I wrote, gold medal, 10,000 meter run. The Creator has given me a gift. The rest is up to me. Believe, believe, believe. Go back to college, open up my textbook, this paragraph leaps out at me. I memorized it. It simply said, your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between reality or imagination. You'll have your body try to respond equally to both. From that moment on, hundreds of times a day, thousands of times a week, I imagined being the Olympic Gold Medalist, breaking the tape at the Olympic Games. Graduated from college, took a commission to the Marine Corps, now I'm in Tokyo, Japan. It's time to go to the stadium. As I'm walking out of the village, there's a long-distance phone call. It's my sister from the reservation in South Dakota. Billy, I hope we're not bothering you. Billy, we understand you compete in a couple hours. Billy, we love you. We've been praying for you. Billy, regardless of what happens, we... And then I heard, we're disconnected. I couldn't put the call back through. But the simple thought, somebody back home is thinking about me, somebody cares, somebody loves me, the confidence went up. I got on the bus. Here's the line of the bus. Over there's a vacant seat by Randy Matson. 285-pound shot putter, all muscle. Over there's a vacant seat by a very beautiful young lady from Poland. Now, obviously, I ignored Randy. Sat by the beautiful lady, and it was a big mistake. She spoke perfect English, saw the USA jersey. Hi, USA! Yeah, USA. What event are we in? I'm in the 10,000 meter run. But today's the final. Yeah, today's the final. Who do you think is going to win? You don't ask somebody that. Especially somebody who grew up in a dysfunctional family, dysfunctional himself. I couldn't respond. She tapped me on the elbow. Who's going to win, Clark or Blitnikov? I dug down as deep as I could. I quietly came up with, I'm going to win. But what's your name? Billy Mills. Oh, no more dialogue. We go through the warm-up. The race got underway. Lap after lap, runners fell behind. We crossed the 3 mile on a cinder muddy track. The rained all night. 13 minutes and 28 seconds. Within 1 second of my fastest 3 mile ever, but the race is not 3 miles. The race is 6.2 miles. There's no way I could continue. I'm going to quit. Rather than quitting, I was in 4th. I decided to take the lead, go 1 more lap, then quit. It's easier to quit when you think you're winning, right? Let me ask you ladies, you're in a debate with your male colleague. When does he want to quit the debate, right? Usually after he makes the last power statement, huh? That doesn't mean we won. That just means we spoke last. The same applies to distance running. I took the lead. When you quit a distance race, you look into the infield, you want to quit when nobody recognizes you? I looked into the infield, all of the officials are local Japanese people from Tokyo. I'm an Ogallala Lakota from the Pine Ridge Reservation. Anyway, it's a great place to quit. Nobody knew me. You also look into the stadium. 85,000 people screaming, cheering. I look up, and if there's nobody there I know, I'm going to quit. But who do I focus on? 85,000 people. I look up, and my eyes focused on my wife, Patricia. She's crying. Not because I'm going to quit. And I don't want you men to think I'm scared of her. But she's crying because she knew this value-based concept on self-empowerment that I was following. Native American virtues and values, trying to take the culture, the tradition, the spirituality, and the virtues and the values that empower my culture, tradition, spirituality, and transfer those virtues and values into current-day educational pursuits or entrepreneurial pursuits. You do that, you become the warrior of the 21st to the 22nd century. She was also crying because I could not join a fraternity in college. And it was not the University of Kansas. I love my alma mater. I love the University of Kansas. It was America. But I also love America. It was perceptions. I couldn't join a fraternity, they simply said, because you're Indian. And as an Indian, there's absolutely nothing you can contribute. She was crying because I couldn't room with two dear friends of mine. Because one man's white, one man's black, and I'm Indian. Not allowed to expand upon the love, the compassion, the diversity we can empower one another with. She's crying for another reason. After my younger brother Chet was born, our mom and dad divorced. That's this audience, maybe. My mother remarried. My mother remarried my dad's younger brother. So now my uncle became my stepfather. My mom died at age 42, cancer, tuberculosis, and diabetic. So my uncle or my stepfather remarried. Remarried my mom's younger sister. I've never counted, but there's over 30 brothers and sisters from that extended family and multitudes of perceptions that society would bestow upon me. But it dawned on me why she was crying. We made a commitment. She had her dreams. I supported her. I had my dreams. She supported mine. Collectively, we had our dreams. There's no way I could quit. I continued lap after lap after lap to where the video picked up the race. 1 year before the Olympic Games, I was diagnosed as hypoglycemic, type 2 diabetic. The way they dealt with that back in those days, when I go low blood sugar, you have absolutely no energy. And I finished toward the back of a race where I won the week before. Billy, you have low self-esteem. You're orphaned. You're a minority. Poverty. You got to learn how to deal with those issues. All it was a medical condition. Hypoglycemic, type 2 diabetic. 1 lap to go. I move into first place right on Ron Clark's shoulder. He pushes me into the third lane. As we come off the curve, I stumble. Mohammed Gamoudi from Tunisia saw the moment to strike. He accelerated. I recovered. I closed back on his shoulder. He broke between Ron and I. I broke. I didn't quit, but I was going to quit in the most cowardly way of all. I took off after Clark for pushing me. I was going to catch him. Boom! I was going to hit him. The most cowardly way of quitting, hitting. When I say the most cowardly way, let me put it this way. And I want every man here to listen. More women every year in this beautiful country of ours. More women are injured by, quote, men. Beating them. Than all the women killed in car accidents, mugged, murdered, and the list goes on. It's time to change. I was not going to hit. I was going to win with dignity, with character, with beauty, with honor. Honoring myself, my family, my country, my heritage, whether I won a race or not. There's no way I was going to hit. I took off after them. One more try, but I'm going low blood sugar. I consciously decided to let them get maybe 10 yards ahead of me. I'd make one final try coming off the 125 meters to go, coming off the curve. I'm in the middle of the curve. I had to be at least 10 yards behind, getting that sticky, clammy sweat that comes from low blood sugar, not from exercise. That blurred vision, that shaking, not from exhaustion of running, but from low blood sugar. I didn't know if I could finish, but I'll make another try. Coming off the curve, 100 meters to go, 6 yards behind. Now, I've got to go now, lifting my knees, pumping my arms. I knew 32 seats up is where my wife Patricia sat. A runner from lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, crossing out to lane 5, he's now in front of me. Momentarily I'm boxed in, but he just floats on into lane 5, opens up the path for me. I can see the finish line, 80 meters to go. Now, lifting my knees, lightening my stride, pumping my arms. As I go by the runner that just crossed in front of me, I glanced out of the corner of my eye, and he turns just slightly. In the center of his jersey was an eagle. Back to my dad when I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 years of age. Son, if you do these things, someday you'll have wings of an eagle. Wings of an eagle. I can run. Lifting my knees, pumping my arms. 30 meters to go. I could see the finish line. I'm in third place. My thoughts became, I may never be this close again. I've got to do it now. Wings of an eagle. I won. I felt the tape break across my chest. I came to a stop. An official came up to me. Who are you? I said, oh my God, did I miscount the laps? Do I still have one more lap to go? He said, finished. You're the new Olympic champion. I had to reconfirm. I said, I won? He said, Olympic champion. I excused myself very politely and said, I have to find the German. I've got to tell him the eagle on his singlet helped me win. I found him. I start to speak. There's no eagle. There was no eagle. It was simply a perception. Perceptions can destroy us, or perceptions can create us, depending on the virtues and the values we take into our journey. The virtues and values of a support system we have on our journey. There's no more beautiful moment, regardless of what country you're from, than being on the victory stand in the number 1 position and hearing the national anthem of your country being played. It's beautiful. It's powerful. But I want to tell you what I felt inside, because what I felt was sacred. I could hear my dad's words. Son, you can step out of the circle. Take the foremost powerful virtues of our people, bravery and fortitude, wisdom and generosity. And how do you use those virtues? The young people here, we teach them to take bravery and fortitude and go on a journey to the center of their soul. And that's where they find the virtue of wisdom. They use the virtue of wisdom to make the right choices for themselves. The right choices will empower them. As they become empowered, then they go to the virtue of generosity, and they empower others. When you do that, you're becoming an emerging elite warrior. A warrior, number 1, assumes self-responsibility with accountability. The next thing that a warrior learns is that incredible sacred balance of humility. We're no better, we're no less than one another. But perceptions play on our minds. My home is bigger than your home. My dad's income is greater than your dad's income. All perceptions of who we are. The warrior then takes responsibility, accountability, humility, and centers them around his or her core, the power of giving. Then there are what I call 4 spiritual steps the warrior seeks to make. If you're atheist or agnostic, don't get hung up with the word spiritual. Call them human steps, but there are 4 of them. The warrior seeks to be unique. The warrior seeks to belong. The warrior seeks to make a creative difference to society. The warrior seeks to understand. And through understanding, promote global unity through the dignity, through the character, through the beauty of global diversity, the future of humankind. So what I'd like to do at this point, if we can put the other video in, I call it my warrior video. And I want to dedicate this video to the students here at the college, to the young people that are here, to both of you. My warrior video. Judy Collins sings Amazing Grace. It features 4 Olympians and the challenges they had to overcome to achieve their dream. We could have the lights. I dedicate this to you.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like
As the lights come on, Jesse Owens, everybody should have a dream. Dr. Martin Luther King, I have a dream. As I've traveled to 106 different countries throughout the world and talking to young people, the youth of the world, individually and collectively, they're designing a dream. They're choreographing a dream. And most for the betterment of themselves, for their family, for their country, for the betterment of humanity. I'll close with 2 brief stories. Jesse Owens competed against Lutz Long. Lutz Long could have beaten Jesse Owens. Jesse's mark was knocked down. Jesse didn't know it. Jesse was falling. Jesse had 1 jump left. All Lutz Long had to do was be quiet. Say nothing. Jesse would fall out again. But Lutz wanted to beat Jesse at Jesse's very best. Lutz Long wanted to be the best in the world, and he had to beat Jesse at Jesse's best. He told Jesse, I think your mark was knocked down. They may have put it in the wrong place. Remeasure your steps. Jesse believed Lutz Long. He qualified for the finals. On his last jump in the finals, he surpasses Lutz Long's best jump, and Jesse Owens wins the gold. Hitler had been congratulating all of the gold medalists up to that point. When Jesse won, Hitler left the box, left the stadium. Now perhaps it was a scheduling conflict, but what a perception it created. Lutz Long congratulated Jesse, the first to congratulate him. They became friends. Because of that action, Lutz Long sent to the front lines, World War II. He's killed. Lutz Long had a child. Jesse Owens becomes friends with Lutz Long's son until Jesse died. Global unity with the dignity, character, beauty of global diversity. In today's world, I'll close with this story. I spent a day last August in London at the Olympic Games with Mohammed Gamoudi. Mohammed was second to me in 1964. He won the gold in 68, won the bronze in Mexico, in Munich. Mohammed speaks Arabic and French. His daughter speaks Arabic, French, and English. She said, "Billy, my daddy wants me to tell you something. As he's buying us lunch during Ramadan, he wanted to treat my wife Patricia and I to lunch. The rest were all fasting." She said, "My daddy said a year before the Olympic Games, he beat you in Belgium. He told you more speed. A year later, you won the gold medal in Tokyo. My daddy said, Billy, too much speed." My daddy shared it this way, Billy. 30 meters to go. He remembered you being pushed with 300 meters to go. Poor Billy, he's out of the race. But it's time for me to strike. Billy's off balance. Clark is off balance. My daddy struck. But you recovered, Billy. You rapidly were closing that window of opportunity for my daddy. He either had to slow down, tried to go around, he would lose yardage. Maybe I could still squeeze through. He tried to squeeze through, pushed you again. Nobody, the three of us, nobody was at fault. But my daddy said, my friend Billy, it's over for him. The race is between the world record holder, Ron Clark, and me. 30 meters to go. There are lapping runners. Lane 1 is empty. Muhammad is in lane 2. My daddy's in lane 2. Ron Clark, the world record holder, is in lane 3. My daddy looks in lane 1. No Billy. Poor Billy. He looks in lane 3. Clark is fading out of sight. The race is my daddy's. My daddy told me you were an American Indian. And you were like an arrow being shot out of a bow. Boom. You went by my daddy and you won. And he was so happy for you. I said, but why? I beat him. No, you did not beat my daddy. My daddy's Islamic faith Muslim. You just assume you're Christian, Billy. My daddy knew, though, that moment was a gift to you from our Creator. And anybody who receives a gift in that manner, the rest of us have nothing but joy to feel for them. My daddy was so happy for you because he knew that moment was your time, that was your gift. I started my presentation by simply saying, I felt if I had wings on my feet. Ron Clark said Billy ran as if he had wings on his feet. Mohammed Gamoudi is a gift to me from the Creator. I wanted to close with that. Men from different parts of the world, there with their spouses, and we found a sense of global unity through the dignity, through the beauty, through the character of diversity, the future of humankind. It's been a great audience. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you.